You go down the hall. I'm like, nope, I'm outside.
Into the secretary's office.
I go in there, and I mean, I'm blowing it up a little bit. And all of a sudden I hear everybody's in the hallway. They're going, oh my God, what is that? And then more people are coming out because they want to smell it. It smells like death out here. Someone said it smells like a rotting corpse in a car out here. But they're standing in the hallway and more people keep coming out in the hall.
Yeah, these are guys that smell death for a living. And they're going, your ass is worse than that. Welcome to another episode of Smoking Steel Podcast, brought to you by StogieReview.com. Tonight in the house we got Jimbo, Eric and Eric Connection, and our fearless leader, Walt. What's new, Walter?
Not a whole lot. I got my package from Kyle. I placed a note. I tell you what, I have learned how the other side lives, or the other half lives. I'm so accustomed to getting cigars the next day that when you ship them from Louisiana, takes more than 2 days.
Yes, it does.
It took about 5 days to get these, but I'm pretty happy with them. I really appreciate the handwritten note, the little personalization that you get with it. Everything was humidified in its own little baggie. It was packed full of packing peanuts. I mean, he did really well. I was pleasantly surprised when that package showed up.
Yep. You had a handwritten letter from Big Rob.
I did.
I'm not sure I think he's like the store manager or something, but yeah. They do a lot of YouTube clips, which is cool, and they've been putting that out, so they're good people.
I did it on the down low. I didn't tell him I was placing an order. I want to see if I get the same service as Eric.
Right. You don't want to big time him, huh? Be like, do you know who I am? I run the Smoking Steel podcast. Big deal.
I am Stogie Review.
Now, deep down, I was hoping that he recognized the name and threw in an extra, and that didn't happen.
That's all right.
Can hope and dream.
Hey, he's one of the only people to send us some smokes to review, so we can't be too greedy.
Well, we know what Walter's smoking. What are you smoking?
I am smoking a Knuckle sandwich tonight by Guy Fieri.
That is
Espinosa.
an incredible coincidence because we're going to talk about that shortly.
And for those at home, we did not plan that. I just happened to grab this one out of the humidor. How about you, Gurgle?
I am doing the Olmec Maduro.
Wow.
Just got my box in today that I ordered, so I figure I'll break one out for tonight.
Always start with the foundation there.
And I got the Las Calaveras 25.
You got that out of your monthly cigar
Yep.
subscription?
Shout out the small batch.
I'm always so jealous when you send me that pic every month. I'm like, oh, man. And I can't get in if I wanted to. As much as I want in, I can't get in. Unless I kill you.
Yeah. But there's somebody else in the
I was going to say, my luck, I kill you. And then...
Yeah, you're still 300 in line.
All right.
So we got something new.
A new TV.
And actually, I want to do something cool that I've been thinking about all day. So I got my show notes here. We're going to do some press release information. But I came across this video from Eric Espinosa, coincidentally, about that very cigar. I thought we would watch the video and then maybe talk about it.
Sounds good. This is exciting. We got multimedia now. Is that Bert Kreischer?
That is Bert Kreischer.
Cutting is not locked. So just are you a fighter? You have to be.
Love machine.
I got crowns. I got crowns that I shot now. I'll tell you the science behind it.
So this story is kind of interesting.
Oh, it's just a nibble. So what happens is there's three parts to the cigar. There's the binder, the filler, and the wrapper. Yeah. So the filler.
There is going to be homework after this.
In like how wine is made. So you're really bringing together this mariage of flavors and complexities. And tobacco is aged, as you know, and cured. And so our mix master, this is made through Espinosa Cigars. That's who I'm partnered with to make Knuckle sandwich cigars. So when I first started cigars with Eric Espinosa, he said, I don't want to make a celebrity cigar. I said, great, I don't want to make one either. I don't want to make one called the Guy Fieri cigar. And so he threw me a cigar.
I can get behind that.
Yes.
And he cut it back at it. And he's like, what? And I go, I don't cut. And he goes, you bet. And he speaks this real badly. You best, first best. That's how Eric does his guys. Those 6 drinks on the cigar. You bet, first best. And so what it is the top, whatever this was wrapped in, the last little bit of wrapper that they have, they'll cut a little button at the end, and then they'll glue it on the top. So what happens is you moisten the cigar. They'll work the cigar for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And you moisten the cigar, and then slowly just remove that cap. Yeah. And then what you didn't do is you didn't interrupt the integrity of the final wrap that happens at the end of the cigar. So
It's all bullshit. I just cut it right off. Like, give me a break.
Exactly why.
I'm not going to sit here and suck on the end of it for a minute.
He said 5 to 10.
Yeah, what? No.
Well, he works the pole.
Very similar to how this end of the cigar was exposed. Yeah. And then, but it's nice and clean because it's wrapped very tight.
It's his cigar, so I get it. I mean, he's...
So, what do you think about that?
It's cool. I mean, he was salesmaning it up, but I told you before, we've talked about this. The collaborations are usually dog shit, but this is a damn good cigar.
I've never had that one. I was kind of intrigued though by the whole removal of the cap. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because there's two different ways to apply a cap. There's like the flag and cap method, which basically the wrapper is cut into a goofy little flag and then it's flipped over and applied to the end of the cigar. And then there's a triple cap, which is multiple caps. Well, if you do like a flag and cap, it doesn't come off.
Right.
Like you unravel the entire cigar. So, I mean, I guess in his case, obviously he's got a triple cap because he's able to peel it off. But is that, what do we think about that in general? I mean, I've peeled my cigars. I've ripped them with my fingernails. I've used pocket knives. Like I've used a lot of things over the years when I'm in a bind.
Right.
But I have never intentionally like, all right, let me moisten this bad boy up for a few minutes and peel it off.
It's a cute little thing that they're doing, but if you're smoking regularly, you're not doing that.
The whole interrupting the integrity, that's very salesman-y.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Just
his
give me
smoke.
a goddamn cutter. Let me light it up and smoke.
And I can guarantee you, if you followed him around, he has cut his cigar before. He says he only ever, what did he say in that video? I've never cut it. Just shut up.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Did you know that?
I didn't, and I agree, because as Walt just explained, with all the different types of caps, it's physically not possible to do what he's doing. But we smoke cigars in here, and I see, especially you, and a few other guys, they'll take them down to the point where their fingers are on fire. But I've also seen videos where guys will tell you that once you get past the halfway point, the cigar is done, and they throw them, and they're throwing them away.
No
so
way.
These are the same guys, not him, but these are the same experts who tell you that. But we all know that that's not necessarily the case. I mean, maybe for a palate that is far superior than what anything of ours would be, but I think that's just, again,
No,
somebody...
but the way cigars are made, why do they tell you the first third, second third, third,
Right.
third?
Exactly, which is why I don't agree with a lot of it. I think it's just a lot of hype.
And for anyone to tell you that flavors don't change halfway down past the band, they can change drastically.
Yeah.
Again, it was for a YouTube video. He had a celebrity on with him. I take that for what it is. I actually like Guy Fieri. I know a lot of people think he's a tool, but I think he's cool.
Oh, I think he's great. I watch him all the time.
Yeah, it's funny how much hate he gets. I don't think he's ever done anything wrong. He's just a...
No.
There was a comedian who had a whole skit, like, leave him alone. Like, he just...
Well, people are jealous. I mean, the guy came out of nowhere. Now he's a multi-millionaire. He's got restaurants all over the country.
Someone once said that he was the Nickelback of the food world. I was like...
Plus, he's got his burger shops on cruise ships.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
In Vegas and...
So, Walt, it's funny. Did you read what Animal Cracker 99 writes?
No.
He did. I saw that.
I just started reading it. There's a whole bunch of BS. Looks cool.
It's pretty much what we said in a more blunt way. It's like, yeah, right. Who's sitting there sucking on their cigar till the cap pops off?
I never heard of such nonsense.
If you haven't heard of it, that's saying something.
Well, what am I doing if I got a torpedo?
Yeah.
Is
I
his
mean, I'm like,
cigars
Walt,
are his cigars available in a torpedo?
Maybe he means only do it on his cigars.
Because it would be sad if he only smokes his cigar. That's weird.
No,
To me.
it's not.
Plus,
Because
this cigar just came out not too long ago, a couple of years ago.
They have a couple lines now, you know.
Yeah.
so, I mean, I've never had it. So tell me your experience with it. Like, where did you stumble on it? And did you buy it because it was a celebrity cigar? Or?
I didn't even know. So that's saying something. I thought the name was cool. And it was at one of the brick and mortars we went to, they had the workers' picks. You know what I'm saying? Like you go into the humidor and it says like, this is our pick of the month. And I was like, I always look for that because those are the guys that know what they're talking about. They, you know, they smoke it, they sell it. So if I'm ever in a lounge and I don't know what to get, I'll always look for the recommendation of the shop. And that's how I got my first one and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I did research and I was like, Guy Fieri. Nice.
Well, I knew Guy Fieri, but I also know Eric Espinosa made.
That's more why. That's what drawn me to it because I like Espinosa.
Yeah, I've had very few cigars that Eric makes that I don't enjoy. So.
Exactly.
So you think it's really good? You like it?
I do. This is not my. I was given.
Was that the Habano?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite one out of them. The
They had-
Maduro's second, but the Habano is my favorite one out of them.
They're all good.
Yeah.
My little brother smokes these. These are like his favorite.
I mean, I don't know if it was just a story,
But I'm gonna say.
I kind of respect that he says, I wanted Eric Espinosa to make me a cigar, and he said he didn't want to make just a celebrity cigar. He wasn't interested. That's kind of cool because I've seen celebrity cigars come and go. They're always a flash in the pan. It's always like an attention grab. Try to grab a few bucks, and then it's gone. And most of the time, they're just not very good. And I guess it's kind of interesting because if you own a cigar shop and you're having a house blend made, you really have your hands in how the blend is done, how the cigar is put together, what the final product is. But if you're a celebrity and you don't really smoke cigars, you're just doing it as marketing or advertising, like what is the end result?
Exactly. That's why I think a lot
Put my
of them,
name on whatever you got a bunch left laying around.
and you don't know if they just get a signing bonus or if they get a cut of the whole profits. And because if they just get an upfront fee, they don't give a shit about the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, hey, we'll give you $1 million, but
But
we get all the sales from the cigar.
I can tell you from what he said that Eric said to him, no, I'm not going to make a celebrity cigar. I'd believe he said that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's me. I'm okay. All of the sounds are coming through the computer.
Okay, I
so
just
that's
panicked.
Discord.
I didn't want to get yelled at.
No.
But like, there are cigars that don't need to be cut. Chisels.
Yeah.
The one that you're not supposed to cut is the pigtail. So like I get the Liga, the little like flying pig or whatever they call it. It has the twisty that you can pop off. I don't think that's enough. I actually go in and then cut those again. But other than that, I think the chisel's the only one that I'll smoke without cutting.
Mm-hmm. But like Walt said, I've been out with a cigar and go, shit, forgot my cutter. Now I'm reaching for my pocket knife. I'm looking for a pair of scissors. I'm looking for anything, any port in the storm. But, you know.
I bit one once. Wasn't good.
No.
I've learned that the Old West, definitely different cigars because it just ends up making a mess and it's horrible.
Some guys like the sophistication of it all. We're more down to earth, you know, salt of the earth type guys. But like, I remember one time I was at forget where I was. I was at a lounge and someone took the butt of their cigar and like pushed it into the ashtray to get it to turn off. Some guy lost his mind. He's like, those people in the fields didn't put that cigar together so you could squish it out. I was like, relax.
That's a bit extreme.
I was like, can we calm down here?
Now I've heard arguments that when you stamp them out, they can get really pungent.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Absolutely.
They start pluming out smoke and they
But
get
to be
funky.
disrespectful to the hands that made it, I was like,
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I just usually throw it in the ashtray. Don't go out.
some guys only light them with the
Cedar
long.
spills.
It just
Wooden matches.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? Give me modern stuff. A sharp cutter, a butane torch.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's like a ritual and it's cool.
yeah.
But I don't got time for all that.
Yeah, I don't have time for 6 matches and 10 minutes to light my cigar, but I can light it in.
The one thing I learned about with the lighting to always avoid was a Zippo, because the fumes coming up from that can be pulled into the cigar and can
It's
affect
the
the
lighter
flavor.
fluid.
Yes.
That's why
Which
they
is why
now
the Zippos.
they have inserts for your Zippos to just be a butane. You just pop those out, pop in the
Yeah.
which
But
defeats
I
the whole
have
point of a
used the
Zippo for me.
in a jam.
Oh, absolutely. Those guys that strictly use Zippos with the insert, I'm like, what's the Zippo is the whole point is to ching and start it. I was like, now it's just another, you paid an extra $40 just for a jet.
Well, no, some of those, like if you've got an old retro, like an old Zippo, I mean, that might be engraved, might have like some meaning to
Collectible,
it.
sentimental value.
But yeah, so you can throw those inserts in anything. But I don't like them because the Zippo lid doesn't open far enough, and it always seems to be like in the way of the torch, and it just gets hot.
Yep.
I would never go out and buy a new Zippo and put an insert in it. It seems like just defeats the purpose. But I agree, though. The fumes on the Zippo, man, they get in the cigar, and it's...
You get
Like-
that oily taste, and yeah.
It's like using lighter fluid on your charcoal grill. Why would you do it? Proper lighting. So, well, we discussed last week. Last week.
Now we're doing 2 a week. Now we're doing
Yeah,
2.
I'm all screwed up. I'm sorry. I had a long day today. The tariffs. So I did do the research, and prior to August, there was actually a 0 tariff coming out of Nicaragua on products. So there was a big trade agreement that had been in place for years. However, under the Trump administration, and they're looking at the trade deficit we had with Nicaragua, there were some changes made, but ended up being in August and went to an 18% tariff on everything coming out. So what we're seeing is the direct prices now coming in, moving towards the retail end. So whatever it was, it didn't go from 10 to 18. It strictly started off with an 18% tariff.
It's funny you bring that up because in a past episode, we talked about me and Rob got emails from our Cuban websites that we can buy that said no more shipping to the United States. Today, I got an email that says they're lifting that. So I don't know what happened, but what was it? Maybe 3 weeks that they weren't shipping to the States, and they were like,
They probably lost
was a
a boatload of money.
we said it. We're like, that's a dangerous play, man. It seems like a big market they're cutting out. Sure enough, I got it today. We're happy to tell you that we're shipping to the United States again. I was like, see, that didn't go well for you.
They'll pay the tariff. They'll just
Yeah,
add it to
whatever.
the price.
We're resuming the shipment of illegal products.
I told you when
Right to your door.
when I was on Instagram and that short from the show came up, are you a communist smoker? I was like,
Thank God nobody works for Customs and Border Patrol.
I know a guy who works for Border Patrol. Go ahead and put our logo back up there.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't like this system.
Why?
All my bookmarks and shit are on the
Oh.
screen. I don't need them knowing what the affiliate programs are.
Buymeawife.com. Meat spin.
Not the meat spin.
You ever hear those stories? Like,
2 girls, 1 cup.
you hear that like CEOs or, VPs of company, they go on and do Zoom calls with the company and they don't realize that their whole browser's showing. It's like, you make too much money to make bad decisions like that. They got porn up on there and they broadcast it to the whole company, trying to get a morale boost. And they're all like, look,
You're telling me not to use the company website for look at you.
but we do have some exciting stuff with this tech plans. This is how we're going to use to get, our out-of-state guys to Skype in. And we actually have some cool ideas with some guys that have been on the show on the road when they go on the road, maybe checking in with them. So it's exciting. I think this is going to be helpful for the pod.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It's going to open up some doors that
Absolutely.
allow us to do some things that we couldn't do before.
Oh, yeah.
Dial in from work. You can do Smoke and Steel Cops episode. But I can't wear a GoPro just for
That's an SPD. He's on his body cam. You can't see your face. People like getting hints of leather. And, get on the ground. Spread your shit.
We joke about it, but there's many times I'll be talking to the wife while I'm driving, and I have her on speaker, so I'm driving, and she's going, "Why do I hear your siren going in the background?" And then she hears tires squealing and me zipping through things, and she goes, and I'm like, "I'm gonna have to get out of the car now." And she goes, "I should hang up, shouldn't I?" I go, "Well, my phone's in my pocket, so you're gonna hear whatever's about to happen, so you might want to hang up."
Yeah, I don't. In case stuff pops off, I wouldn't want her to hear that. You know.
I'm the type that turns the radio down so I can see street signs better.
I
can't.
Really.
I'm not even. that
Everyone,
bad,
shut
Walt.
up! I'm looking for a sign.
Like that's gonna help you.
If anybody ever listened to my stuff, actually, I should think about that. Some of the calls I've been going to, I'm on the phone talking to her as I'm driving at licensed sirens. I'm going to shootings and other things. And at some point, they may actually end up in discovery, which means someone's going to be like, "Why were you on the phone talking while you were driving to an emergency?" I mean, on the bright side, tells you I was calm.
You were level-headed. You
I was
know, I was talking to my wife.
I don't want to just hang up. That'd be rude.
That's funny.
So in the news, Flor Dominicana announces that they are doing a reimagined Suave. It actually looks really cool.
I believe that's Suave.
Whatever.
No, I'm just kidding.
If you can do it, so can I.
That's the only reason I said that. It's a Suave. I've seen this online. You know I'm Mr. LFD, so I'm pumped about this one.
Yeah, it's coming out at the 2025 PCA trade show, which may or may have not have happened.
I'm pretty sure that's already happened. Yeah, that's already happened. The one in New Orleans.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they should be shipping out.
Returns with refreshed presentation and new blends. So with it being a new blend, is this one that you've had before?
I have never had a Suave. Suave.
I've had the original. Haven't had that.
I really like that band. Like
It's
it's
sweet.
classy. It's I like it.
For them, that's as wild as they get. You know, them throwing a horse on there was like big time for them. They're usually classic colors, just the LFD
I
logo.
think if I remember correctly, that was the original band.
Let me Google it.
Well, I remember the flowers early on. I don't remember the horse. I remember all the early advertisements of Lito Gomez on a horse, but I don't remember a horse on the band.
I'm going to look it up here.
MSRP ranging from $840 to $1280, so that's actually quite approachable.
Yep.
I'm actually glad to see that. We're seeing so many cigars come out these days that start in the double digits and just
Crazy.
climb. You know, I actually saw I saw a video clip earlier where someone was talking about they didn't care what the end result of the cigar cost was because they wanted something really special, and he said, you know, I'll sell it for $50 if I have to. It's just that important to me that I get what I need. And if it means I have to pay the factory an extreme amount of money, then I'll do it. And, you know, the crazy thing is, I bet he could get $50 a cigar for that.
Absolutely.
And I mean, people might complain, but people will line up to buy it.
They have such
crazy.
a cult following. So yes, the original Suaves were 1994 is when they were released.
Yeah, that's what the press release says.
Trying to see if it's the same band or not. I'm going to say it's the same one.
Oh, wow. It was the very first cigar that they made.
Wow.
I guess I should actually read these press releases.
I thought they were around a lot longer than that.
No, La Flor Dominicana, as well as, oh man, the name escapes me. Perdomo. They were brands that were launched in the cigar boom in the 90s. So they aren't like one of these super long time generational companies. Rocky Patel's another one that launched in the boom. So yeah, the LFD, even though they've been around for quite a while, they're kind of a young company in the grand scheme of things.
That's wild.
The 90s were great because you had all this new stuff coming out. Before you were limited to what you could. And then it was like, bam, I'm like, oh man, look at this, look at that, look at this.
Or it was terrible, depending on who you ask. I hear there's a lot of garbage that came out in the 90s.
There was.
Rob just texted me, he said, should I call in? Skype in? I was like, yeah, we can try it.
No.
I don't want his ugly mug to be the first one on the screen. People will never go back.
So yeah, 840 to 1280 comes in a San Andreas Maduro and an Ecuadorian Corojo. This is pretty exciting. I would absolutely try this cigar.
Yeah.
So it's funny you said that. I just looked on Kyle's brick and mortar, the Cigar Aficionados. They have a Discord. I'm on there. He just sent out a pre-release last week, so you can pre-order it. So he's getting it soon.
Oh, cool. Maybe I'll have to reach out to Kyle, place another order.
With the,
He won't mind, that's for sure.
My credit card might.
but I think a lot of companies now are realizing that the way the economy is, you can't keep putting out 20, 25-hour cigars because people aren't going to do it. They're not.
Nope.
If you got a choice, do I get 3 or 4 $8 or $9 cigars, or do I get one $20 cigar? What are you going to do?
Makes you wonder, like, when is that bubble going to burst? Or has it already? I mean, because we've seen some staggering cigar prices. They're just going up and up.
The days, so I like to buy expensive cigars, but I can't buy them in boxes. You know what I mean? Like, buying multiples of those cigars is crazy.
Well, when you say expensive, we've talked before. We all have a different
Right.
idea of expensive. I have a cap.
I think
se.
after $25 gets into that higher tier, that's
And see, for me, it's probably 17, 18 is the top end.
That's kind of where I am. I really struggle to accept spending or justifying spending more than that, because ultimately I wind up asking myself, okay, is this $28 cigar really worth 3 of the ones that I would normally smoke, or
Correct.
two are these ones that are a little higher than I normally smoke? So I really struggle with cigars that are in excess of $20.
Exactly.
I mean, we've talked. Everybody knows I'm a fan of Tabernacle. Obviously, I've always was a fan.
Fanboy.
I was always a fan of the Liga Privada. They just became so pricey, and when these came out, and I found out the connection and the relationship, and I tried them. I mean, they were great.
Absolutely.
And now that they've been in such limited supply, I've had to go out and buy Ligas. And those prices are even worse than what they used to be. They used to be a $15 cigar.
Yep.
Now they're up to a $20+ cigar.
Number 9s are up to $22.
Yep.
We
Yep.
used to get, you're right, we used
Yeah.
to get those for $15, and we'd be like, man, they're getting up there.
Yeah.
When
Well, I see some 5-packs now going for what I used to pay for a box.
Yep.
I'm like, it's crazy.
I mean, it makes us be a little bit more. Well, it makes me be a little bit more conscious that I still prefer to smoke a cigar I enjoy, and again, maybe smoke less cigars. But I'm really big about looking for deals, and I'll look for those discount codes. I'll look for those other ways to save 10, 15, 20%, or a sales, anything, just to defray that cost. But yeah, it hurt. I mean, the difference. So the box of Ligas that I bought compared to a box of Tabernacles was at least $100 more for the same box. I mean, you're talking $4 to $5 a stick more. And I didn't really feel like I enjoy them anymore. I mean, I know we've talked about the opuses. I've had a few. I've never spent more than $30 on a cigar in my life.
That's awesome.
And I look at them and I'm like, you guys talk, they're great. And they probably are. But at the same time, again, my taste, my profile, I just learned that there's just certain things I like. And I don't need to go spending crazy amounts of money for something, because I'm not, if I like it, I'm not going to be able to keep buying it. I mean,
It's me and my little brother are the polar opposites. He goes, Eric, he loves Opus. He does, but he won't buy them for himself. He steals them from me all the time. So you know they're good. And he acknowledges that they are upper echelon. But he says, Eric, there's way too many good cigars on the market for $12 or less for me to go out. He goes, if it's your money, he goes, he grabs an Opus. So I'm like, at least he acknowledges that they are that good. But
A special occasion, birthday, anniversary, whatever. I don't mind spending
yep.
$30, $40, $50 for a cigar, but I'm not doing it every week. And I'm not buying boxes of $50 cigars.
Crazy. There was a guy that used to come into the local lounge, and all he smoked was Opus. You remember that guy? And he just buy boxes. They had this Opus chest that comes out once a year. It comes with like 32 high-end cigars. The retail was like $1,500. He looked at it and he was like, "Oh, would you do 14?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, it's been sitting here for like a year." And he's like, "Wrap it up." It's just your taste, I guess. I could never do that.
And your income.
That's fair. I don't know what he did. I think he was like some tech guy. He was driving an M3, so.
Well, it's wild how that the cigar shops can change. So I knew a guy that lived up in Connecticut for a number of years, and he used to hang out at one particular cigar shop that didn't sell singles, boxes only. You come in, you rented a locker, you bought a box, you opened it up, smoked what you wanted, you put the box back in the humidor or in your locker. No singles.
Wow.
You'd have to buy a couple boxes and keep them in your humidor so you could actually have a variety.
Yep.
I mean, this is my first cigar, but it's not going to be my second cigar, obviously. So I'm not going to smoke 2 of these tonight because I probably make myself sick. Because these are powerful cigars. And although I have done back-to-back tabernacles, let me tell you, that was not a good idea.
I've done that before. Back-to-back Black Label or back-to-back LFD double Lajeros. You're like,
So you talk about the LFD, the shop formerly known as Sir Stogie's. He had brought in a product. I'm pretty sure it was an LFD. It was a limited edition. Only came out, like I guess once a year. Really, really good cigar. It was not a high price one, and I've never been able to remember what it was and find it again.
What did it look like? Little guy, ugly little cigar.
No, they was decent
I
size.
wish
It was
you could remember.
So years ago, it was kind of crazy. Lito Gomez used to walk around with cigars in his pocket. They were these ugly little cheroots, and if you asked him, he would give you one if you were at an event. And they were known as ice picks. They were little cheroots, and they were just wildly powerful little things. You could never buy them, and then I think they eventually started selling them in very limited quantities. But that was a great little cigar, really powerful, ugly, but it was really good.
That's why I like LFT. They tend not to do the every year or 2-3 times a year. Now we have a rare one that we're only going to, it's like, they do have some limited release ones, but they stick with that, like the Bull. And they've had a couple of iterations of it, but they don't go crazy. It's mostly their core line. And then they have some other stuff that you can get.
Well, when I worked at the shop, Rep came in one time sitting there. He goes, "Here, try this. It's a little tiny, almost like a cigarello." What is it? He goes, "It's something new we're working on. Give it a try." Dude, I lit that thing up. My head started spinning. I'm like, what the hell is
They don't mess around.
I'm like, my God. He started laughing. He goes, "Good." He goes, "Because I felt the same way." And then he gave Tim one. Tim's like, "What's this?" He goes, "Here, smoke it." Tim smoked like half of it. He goes, "I'm getting dizzy."
We talked about that blending lab. That was an LFD blending lab we did. That one I told you that had like, it tasted like it had pepper flakes in it. Mm-hmm. Their rep, I wish I could remember his name. I'm not going to lie. I judged a book by its cover. When a rep comes in, I want them to be old, grizzly, looking like they've smoked for 30 years. In comes this kid who I knew I was probably 13 or 14 years older than him. I'm like, "Who ordered pizza?" I'm like, no, that's the LFD rep. I was like, come on. My brand sends in this young whippersnapper. He was sharp.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
He walked in, he was confident, he knew everything. And I was like, "I'm not going to lie, buddy." I said, "We've seen reps come in here who've been in the business for 20 years and you put on a show." He was like, "Well, thanks." I was like, that was something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. He walked in and was like, we got the D squad rep tonight. Get out of college. I was like, "Are you even 21? Can you smoke a cigar?"
Are you allowed to be here?
He was quick. He was really good.
It's going to bug me now until I can try to remember. But
I know.
I could have sworn it was a box of 50.
Holy shit.
I remember when I went in, it was on the left. I bought one. I smoked it. I really liked it. It was not expensive. I'm thinking it maybe was in the $8 to $10 range. Again, we're talking 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. And then I was told, I went back and bought the rest. That's because I liked it that much. And there wasn't that many left in the box. And the owner had said that was it for the year. Potentially more would come out again in the following year. And I went and started looking online trying to find them. And it was the same thing. Everybody was out of them. Nobody had them. And now I don't remember what they were. Don't remember enough about them. And I guess I should keep better records of what I smoke.
Because you didn't know you were going to be on a podcast one day?
4 years later, who knew?
Yeah, right?
But we go back to, we've had conversations, cigar prices like this one here. that's in a great wheelhouse.
It is.
That's something that, I would probably, if I liked that cigar, I would buy a box of it.
Yeah.
To have.
When they came out in 1994, they were probably $4. So to only go up 50% in, what is that, 30 years? That's more than 30 years.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Feel so old.
1993 is what? 37 years?
He feels so old.
Isn't that wild?
I had 2 kids.
What was I doing in 1997? I was probably in 9th grade. No, but still, to only go up 50% that's great.
Yeah.
That's why I like them so much. They're very consistent too,
So, Placencia is coming out with a new one.
I've had the blue.
Have you had it?
I have, me and Mark. This brand, we talk about the Andalusian Bull splitting the crowd. Placencia it splits everyone. You either love them or the guys think that they're way too expensive and they're overrated. There's not like a middle ground on these. I love them.
I enjoy them. I don't enjoy the price of them, but I enjoy them.
I had the I guess it's like a mid-tier Placencia. It's not the $26.
Alma Forte.
It's whatever is below that. It was like $10 maybe, $12.
They have a couple of them.
The red one.
No, I thought it was green.
The red one's the Alma Fort. That one. Yeah.
Alma Fuego is the red ones. The Forte,
Okay.
Alma Forte is the green and gold labels. There's like a white label that you can get. Those are like $7 to $12.
Whatever it was, I bought it from Frank Smith.
They have the white ones.
Okay, and it was decent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing with Placencia, though, is they've been around for a long time. They're like, they might be the largest grower of tobacco in Nicaragua. And like they've put out so much stuff over the years. Like they've made a lot of Rockies, and they've made cigars for a lot of people. And it I don't know, it always struck me as like, it's almost like built for the masses, like Bud. It's not offensive. You can drink it, but it's not going to like blow your hair back. And I keep hearing really good things about this line. It's just so damn expensive. I can't bring myself to drop $26. I'll tell you what, though, that octagonal press, it looks beautiful, though.
And it burns forever.
Yeah.
Remember the ones I got just a couple weeks ago? In fact, first podcast that I was here for, I picked them up at the beer distributor.
Yep.
And they
Remember you pulled those? I was like,
and it was priced $10 below the store up the street.
and I remember to say, hey, can we go back? And you're like, I got the ones that they had. I was like,
yeah.
Oh man.
But so the red ones, they seem to price differently depending on where they're at for sale. So I was smoking them for a while. I did enjoy them, and one of the things I found was I was buying them on a website on an auction. And the thing was, they weren't going. So nobody would bid against me, and I would tend to get a box at opening price, which would be like $100 for a box of them, if that. And I kept buying them. Now, the one thing I did get some feedback. Somebody had talked about it, and I started to notice it myself. The red box had a lacquer finish, and it was impacting the taste of the cigars when they sat in them.
That happens to more brands than you think. They rush the lacquer process or whatever. The smokes can have a hint of that, almost ammonia to it.
I mean, it wasn't anything that bothered me, but you could smell the outer box, and you could actually pick up the paint that was on the box.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually lacquer. They use there are a lot of different chemical finishes these days, but lacquer takes a long time to off gas. Like before it's finally like there is no smell anymore. So I can and cigars are like a sponge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start rushing the process, even trying to cut corners and save a couple of days, it could have a big impact, down the line, especially once you put the cigars in there, and then you got to think you're wrapping it in cellophane, you're preparing it for sale. Now you're locking all that stuff in that package.
And why I think they get so much flack, I would say, is because they're priced in that upper echelon group, the Padrones, the Opus, the higher end stuff. People judge it on a harder scale because they paid $25 for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were, cigars can tend to get away with stuff like that when they're $10, $11, but when you price point at 26, you better be almost perfect.
Yeah, there's very slim margin for error when you're priced that high.
You canoe with $26. People are going to be upset.
Yeah, things that I wouldn't think twice about on a $7 cigar, I am absolutely gonna put it under a microscope with a cigar that costs.
And you should. So I think that's why 90%, I think you smoke it, you won't have an issue, but there are Placencias that would have a burn issue or whatever, and people, they don't like that.
I'll be going by that beer distributor tomorrow. I think I'm going to stop and see if there's anything special.
Send me a picture if there is. What time are you going to go?
I have an appointment down in that area between 10:30 and 12, so I'll be stopping.
Where's it at?
I'm not telling you.
I was going to say, I have off tomorrow. I go with you.
You can't go to my appointment.
No. the beer distributor.
It's a massage appointment.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be uncomfortable with you in there.
That would be weird. I don't want to go watch you get a happy ending. So, yeah, that's a good smoke. I enjoy them, but if you don't feel that way, put it in the comments. Tell us why, Placencia is not your brand, because there's a lot of guys out there that don't like them. But
They are beautiful, though.
yes, they
And
are.
I hear wonderful things. They're just so expensive.
They burn for a long time, too. What's it called? The Alma de Cielo. Cielo.
You can tell we're a bunch of white guys
Cielo.
butchering the names.
Grace.
Can I give me a chimichurri?
Get him a chimichanga. I always just point. If I get something real ethnic from a Mexican restaurant, I just... He goes, yeah, all right, amigo. Like, I don't want to say it. Please don't make me say it.
Polo.
A Michoacanos. That's the one thing I get from Plaza
I'll
Azteca.
have a
Pollo
number 7.
Michicano. And I'm like, numero 70.
Oh, you want preferres?
Yeah, that's right. No, that's not what I wanted.
This is my first My Father Blue. I really like it. It tastes like a classic My Father. Like it's as soon as you light it up, you would even if it didn't have a band, it's very distinguished. They have a flavor profile.
Yes, they do.
Very apparent, and I like it. It's a little bit milder than some of the other My Fathers I've had, but it's kind of buttery smooth. I really like it, and the price point's not bad either. I mean, I think it's just $10 from Kyle.
Yep. Is it burning fast? Because that's the only thing I've heard from them. They've been burning pretty quick.
I really haven't noticed. We've been
Good.
talking, and
What's the next story you got on the news? This is great.
that's it. That's all I had time
Man,
for.
I'm so excited to see what the next one was.
I like those.
I love them.
What is that?
The blue label.
Don
Don
Pepin.
Pepin.
Those old ones, the original Don Pepins, people try and find those. They're sought after.
Tell you what, Jim down at Top Shelf used to have a house blend made by Don Pepin. It was his green label Top Shelf Signature Select, and it was awesome.
That was killer smoke.
Add it into the list of ones that you wish you would have stocked up on, huh?
Yeah, and then Jim got the axe when Pepin got big. He called like all of his little accounts, and Jim was one of them. He was kind of upset over it, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, when they tend to take off like a rocket, they change things up, and the smaller accounts probably go by the wayside. But that's the way it works sometimes.
Jim, what was the stick that Tim used to get? That was the $2 ones. Fresh rolls.
Perdomos.
And you remember, they were good every day, just basic cigar. And then his son had a bunch that he had taken down with him when he moved down south. And they'd been sitting in the humidor for years. He never smoked them. And then Tim had commented that they broke one out after like 5 years sitting in the humidor and smoked it. And he said it was absolutely amazing how much it had changed and become a phenomenal cigar.
Perdomos still do those fresh packs to this day.
Yeah, I think the product changed after
Oh, my
a while.
God.
It wasn't the same cigar anymore.
I used to go in and buy the bundle. They were my work cigar.
Yeah, I'd go in. But everybody would walk in there, and you'd grab a handful like this because they would come in they were hundreds.
Yeah.
They came in 100 pack, and you would just go in and just grab a handful. They were $2 a piece, dude. You get a torpedo, $2 a piece for them things.
That's awesome. Yeah, the days of $2 smokes are long gone.
Well, you can still get a Phillies.
You look. I don't know why the other day it poked out at me that Wawa has the traditional stuff that people roll weed in, but then they have these like little 1-packs of like Perdomo. They have Cohiba Regional, and it was like one stick in this little Ziploc bag, and it was like $9. I was like, jeez.
At Wawa, you said they had them?
We'll take a look next time you go. They have these individual, it's Perdomo, Cohiba Original, and then like a Monte Cristo.
This sort of makes sense because what is it? ST Group bought General, and ST or Scandinavian Tobacco or whatever it is a massive global company. So I could definitely see them pushing out product into like convenience stores, gas stations, doing those like fresh packs or whatever they are, even if it's just a tubo.
The first cigar I ever bought was one of those backwoods. What was it? The beach nut honey, the purple ones.
It looked like you came out of the cat box.
That was the first cigar I bought when I was 18. Shows my age. I could buy a cigar when I was 18. They can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I remember thinking I was living it up with a Black and Mild. Buy a 5-pack of those from the gas station or a 3-pack, whatever they came in. And so many years ago.
We used to go to midnight bowling every Friday night. And we'd go to Zern's, it's closed now, but it was the local farmer's market. And they had a tobacco shop in there. We'd all get a 5-pack of Philly Blunts, different flavors, and we'd throw them out on the table. We'd bowl for 4 hours, and you could just grab whatever one you wanted. Dude, we stunk so bad for like a week until you'd finally get the smell off you, and then it was back to Friday night bowling. By the time we came around, you finally got the smell off of you. Watermelon, vanilla, chocolate, all of them. You just peach. Ooh, I'll go with the peach one now.
What is the tobacco age in Pennsylvania now?
21.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
It is. I mean, and to me, I think it's absolutely insane because, again, I had 2 kids who both went in the Marine Corps. So they can go out and fight and die for their country, but they can't buy a cigar. But then here we are sending cigars to troops overseas, and most of these troops are 18 years old.
Yeah, but can you even do that anymore? I thought there was a big stink over donating cigar product or tobacco products to the armed forces.
I'm still sending them. If they want tobacco, I'm sending them tobacco.
Because there used to be groups that would accept donations and then box them up and then ship them out in mass.
What was it? Stogies for the soldiers or something like that?
There was a couple of them over the years. And then I thought there was legislation and stuff that created a bunch of pushback.
Oh, don't you remember Tim had that in the lounge? Had that table. You'd go in,
You drop a couple in.
then when he got so many, he would box them up, and you'd put somebody, family, friend name, and he'd pull a name out of the jar, and that's who got
he
the
shipped them
cigars.
to.
Then, so
I had a friend who was a Marine, and Skull used to send them chewing tobacco. If they wrote him a letter and said, "Hey, I love your product," they would send them sleeves of tins. I don't know if there was a cutoff or how many they'd send, but Skull would just send them out chewing tobacco to the front line.
21.
It's wild, right?
It is.
How about the kids? So let's just say when the age was 18. So you're 18. You've been buying cigarettes for 3 years. Well, no, 2 years. So you're 20 years old. You've been smoking and legally buying cigarettes for 2 whole years. And then one day you go into the gas station. They're like, "You've sold me cigarettes 1,000 times." And they're like, "I can't do it now." It's like, can you believe that?
Think about the fact that, again, Pennsylvania, you can go in and buy a shotgun and a rifle at 18. Handguns, you got to be 21. But you can buy a shotgun and a rifle at 18. And you still can't buy a cigar now at 18.
You can't have a Philly blunt, but you can go get a 12 gauge.
Or you can go join the military and fight and die for our country, but you can't. You can't
vote.
And vote.
You're sound enough mind to put someone in power to our country, but you're not mature enough to smoke a cigarette.
don't smoke a cigar while you're voting.
No chewing tobacco for you. Whatever.
I didn't have that problem. Whenever I wanted a cigar, I just, "Hey, Pop, can I get a cigar?" "Yeah, you know where I'm at."
You remember like TV shows from the 90s with like anytime the dad had a cigar, it was like in a sock in the dresser. Times have changed.
Smoking section or non-smoking section when you went into a restaurant.
Ugh.
You know what goes for good money? Ashtrays from old restaurants. Like if you can find a Pizza Hut ashtray, they go for great money on McDonald's. Goes crazy money on eBay for ashtrays that have the McDonald's logo and the trademark on it.
I don't remember ashtrays in McDonald's.
Used
They're
to have-
around.
I know there was smoking section.
They used to have little aluminum
They're
ones.
around.
Yeah, but I don't remember them being branded.
Mm-hmm.
Go on eBay.
Yeah, my first job, 16, was in a McDonald's. One section, the one whole side was the smoking section, and the rest was not. And there'd be little ashtrays all over the tables.
And there was no partition. It was like
Yep.
Yeah,
it was just a line on the carpet.
There was nothing. Now I'm in, now I'm out.
I remember Applebee's did like the glass partition between.
Yeah.
I was like, that was their big. I was like, it's smoke. It's gonna get through. Like there's open ends on each side. Like it's not a trapped in area.
I can remember sitting in a restaurant in a booth, the glass partition. I'm smoking a cigar, and the other side of the glass partition, they're joined, is a family in the booth, and they're just like, I'm like,
Yep.
I'm in the smoking section.
yeah.
I remember being young and getting on a plane, and they obviously didn't smoke in my generation, but the planes
I
were
did.
old. The planes were old enough that in the armrest there was a little flip open.
I remember getting on the
Buses,
flight to
trains.
California. Fire up a cigarette, a cigar, and a
Crazy.
plane.
You're in a pressurized tube.
They didn't care about cigarettes. You'd light up a cigar, and they'd kind of. They did say that, but they would give you the nasty look, like really.
Get a long flight, smoke a couple. By the time you get off, you can't see the back of the plane.
I remember I joined a firehouse social hall, and they allowed smoking in there. And then, like, it was amazing. Like, there'd be someone down at the end of the bar with a cigarette. I'd have a cigar clear on the other end of the bar, and they'd be bitching about the smell of my cigar.
Mm-hmm.
The last club that allowed smoking in Boyertown, like they used to all be okay. And this was past my time. Like when I was 25 and in there, they still allowed smoking. They are all done. The last one said, okay, a lot of them, what they did was they built a whole nother room on, or they did a whole section. It's still inside, but it's sealed and separated. So I was like, that's an end to an era there. Even the private clubs now that's done.
I remember working in high-rise office buildings in Center City, Philadelphia. Certain floors, they had smoking rooms, glass partition rooms with smoke eaters in them. And people would go in there, have a cigarette, whatever.
Even in casinos, like you thought that would be the only place that they were trying to do away with it there too. The casino we go to at the beach, Ocean Pines, they built a whole glass case and they put some slot machines in there and a TV, but it's sectioned off and that's the smoking room. You walk in there and you're like, you can't even walk in there. I was like, I am not sitting in there and smoking a cigar. I will die. It's just a glass cube and you can't even see out the smoke so bad.
You know where I'm taking him in October, right?
We'll go to the casino. I ain't going in that room.
Oh, yes, you are.
I'll stand outside in the freezing cold.
No, you're going in that room.
So watch you gamble, I'll do it. No, we have hard pressed to leave the fire pit at the hotel. Why go lose money when we can just sit in by the fire and have a good time? I say that now until we get down there.
Oh, let's go. Who wants to go to the casino? I feel a heater coming on.
As soon as Charlie, I've had so much luck at that casino. All it'll take is Charlie to look at me and go, casino? And I'll be like, yeah, let's go. All right, here we go. It's the only casino I'm a member of the point system. So it's like, my wife goes, why do we keep getting these emails from Ocean Pines? I was like, I don't know. I'll have to check that out. She goes, you go to that when you're down there? I'm like,
No, not really.
maybe. They're sending us free rooms. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Going to see the grill?
Yeah, check the grill. Make sure it's already
I watched the episode 5, my birthday episode. That was good. I've been waiting. I don't watch the pre ones anymore. I want to be like, I know. It's like, can you believe that? But 7's up there. It's It's wild.
This is episode 15.
Is it really?
It is.
When we start doing 2 a week now, it's like
I watched the one from last Thursday. Actually, I did some editing on it today. It was good.
what, the one from Tuesday?
The one
With Eddie?
With Eddie, yeah.
That felt when we were done. I was like, that felt good.
It was because I had to actually do a lot less editing than usual. It just I mean, I left the gaps in, but they just felt natural. So it was just really easy to edit.
I tell everyone, when you came on your first time, you were relaxed, you were good. Everyone else that's come on has been a little nervous. Eddie was the same as you. He came on and he texted me after. He's like, I really felt like I didn't do a good job. I was like, bro, it was awesome. So if that was you being bad, I can't wait to see when you're comfortable. Like, he was great.
You mean when I came on? The first
Yeah, you were just right into it, no
It
problem.
was easy. I just picked on you the whole time.
That's what we tell
That's
everyone.
normal.
We don't tell them to imagine everyone in their underwear. We just say, just make fun of Eric and we're good.
Well, but that was a typical night.
Exactly.
That's literally I mean, people don't understand. How many days do we walk into that place and I sit down and said, how's your proctologist doing today?
I tell everyone, just come in here like you want to just don't imagine all the mics and the headset, just like we're doing every other night. Just sitting here smoking, talking.
Talk about Oak Island.
Love that show.
I heard they found wood.
Again.
The Knights Templar. If I
Marty.
never heard the name Laguinas again, it would be too soon.
Marty and Rick.
Greg and Marty Laguinas.
You know, he tapes every show, right?
Oh, I know. He DVRs them.
The only episodes I've ever watched are with you guys. That show sucks.
Yo.
Hey, it's got 15 seasons or something now.
Everybody loves it. I just don't see
It's an acquired taste. It's like watching the Three Stooges. The scary thing about a show like the Three Stooges, I find all of us can probably talk about any episode that we've seen and we love them. Go ask your wives.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. How can you watch that? I'm like, what do you mean stupid? It's hilarious.
I show her stuff all the time thinking that she's going to love it, and she just goes, I'm like, okay. This is hilarious. This is going to make you laugh. You show her, and she's like,
My wife just shakes her head and goes,
She looks at me and she goes, You're 54 years old, but you're still a 12-year-old, aren't you? Like, ultimately, yeah.
well,
I'll be sitting on my phone at night scrolling through TikTok, laughing, dying, tears in my eyes. My wife will come over. I don't get it. That is so stupid. What's so funny about that? It's hilarious. Look at it.
do you know what me and my wife do? We have a game where once we get the kids to bed and we come over, we switch phones on the TikTok app. Whoever laughs first loses. Dude, I could scroll on her freaking feed for an hour and not find anything that's even close to funny. I'll get lucky and she'll laugh at one of mine usually, but like hers is just, the algorithms couldn't be any more different. Food, kids running in a field. I'm like, I'm going to cry on hers before I'm going to laugh. It's like, jeez.
I don't do TikTok. Kelly does. And I'll stand behind her and look and see what she got. It's makeup and her applying her makeup. And I'm sitting out there. I'm scrolling through other stuff and I'm looking at it. And there's guys shitting their pants, running to the crapper. I'm dying laughing. I'm like, oh, give me more of that.
Me and Walt send each other wild videos, and I can see our algorithms are completely different too. She gets pissed when on mine. It's 80% sports stuff, you know, and then a couple fart jokes here and there, but it's mostly she's like, if I see another sports, I'm like, don't scroll past that. I want to see that.
so my wife, she's like, what are you looking at? Cars. Oh, what are you looking at? Cigars. Don't you look at anything else? No.
What? There's other stuff to look at?
Motorcycles. What have you been watching for the last hour and a half? Well, there's this guy. He's restoring a 51 Chevy pickup truck. It's freaking awesome. She just goes, no. You know, for the money he spent on that truck, he could have bought a brand new one.
That's not the point.
Dear.
That's the one a lot. It's like to fuck around and find out. And it's the guy's narrating The people, the dudes, and dumb shit. It's like, and I just sit there and I just cringe, like, "Oh, you know that hurt."
My Instagram algorithm is dark. It's like car accidents. It's guys blowing their hands off with fireworks, and I'm like, oh my God, every video gets crazier and crazier.
Lately, I've been seeing a lot of these scare videos.
Mhm.
That seems fine, except for these are twisted. Like, people are literally scared and shitting themselves. It's wildly funny.
That's awesome.
These ones popped up today. Guys trying to lift stuff. Guy lifts the box up, shits his pants. Goes, he grunted too hard trying to lift his box. And I'm dying. My wife goes, "You're 12." It's funny as
The
hell.
videos of those guys are trying to lift their personal records, and then they just pass out. So I think that's an issue. You're trying to lift something that's so heavy that your body just goes, nope, and just shuts down. Good thing I don't have that problem, you know? I never want to have that issue.
No.
But we as guys do have a weird twist. So I have some digestive issues, and occasionally I may blow up a bathroom or two. Today I'm at work, and the guys are like, "You got to give us all a 10-minute buffer. We need a warning before you're going in so we can get in."
And these are cops. They're not,
So
they're used to stuff like that.
we're all standing there after lunch and look at everybody and go, 10-minute warning. And they're like, "What? You go down the hall. Down the hall." I'm like, "Nope, I'm outside."
Into the secretary's office, you know.
We're at the academy's training today, and I'm like, "Oh, look, there's a private bathroom just for me." It says handicap. I'm like, "That's fine." So I go in there, and I mean, I'm blowing it up a little bit, and all of a sudden I hear everybody's in the hallway. They're going, "Oh my God, what is that?" And then more people are coming out because they want to smell it, so they can complain. But that's all. That's guys.
There was
Like, it smells like death out here. They actually, someone said it smells like a rotting corpse in a car out here. And the shame is, I can actually tell you what that smells like. But they're standing in the hallway, and more people keep coming out in the hall.
Yeah, these are guys that smell death for a living, and they're going, your ass is worse than that. They know what death smells like. It's not a metaphor. They literally know what death smells like, and they're going, Eric, get the hell out of here. There was a TikTok, I think I sent it to you. Guy is in a handicap stall at like a grocery store or a Walmart, and he just posted, it said, "I'm living everyone's nightmare." He takes the camera and points it down under it, and there's a guy with a wheelchair out there waiting to get into the big stall, and he goes, "It finally happened." He goes, "I feel like such a dick." He just pans down, and you just see the guy out there like, just waiting to come into the handicap stall. It's never happened to me. Has it happened to anyone of you
No.
guys?
No.
I don't use the handicap stall
Right.
for that reason.
He goes, "It finally happened." He came out, he's just like,
By
"Sorry,
luck, that would be the problem.
you got to walk out and drag your leg or something." You know?
Yes, at work we are twisted. And I can tell you, everybody has a thing. Code Brown. We all know what Code Brown is. It's when your license siren's back to the station, and you learn to keep an extra pair of underwear in your locker, just in case. Don't quite get there in time. You'll see guys running in the station. Their belts or keepers are coming apart. Shit's flying. They're running to the bathroom. Did you make it? Oh, and they're looking at you funny. It's like, ooh.
That's awesome.
You haven't lived till you've been at a Johnny on the spot on a construction site in August.
The heat. I have been in, nowhere close to that, but if you ever been to a Phillies tailgate in August, 105 degrees, there's 30,000 people tailgating, and they give you 12 porta potties. You get in that fucking thing and it's 200 degrees. There's vomit. There's something about drunk sports fans that they can't hit anything. It's just everywhere. It's just like, it's okay for us, but if a girl has to go down there, you're like, oh man, I feel bad for you.
Break. Oh,
Boondock.
Woohoo.
I'm still going through the latest. They have that boombox variety pack that I got from Black Label, and this is one of them in there.
I still have yet to open that box.
You have all the boxes. You got the Hive, you got the Anthology. You didn't get the boombox, but you have the last three.
The Hive is I don't want to say it's almost done because they still have almost all the Lanceros.
I think the Hive was the best one they had.
Yeah.
This boombox one was really cool. It had a lot of different stuff, but the anthology was okay. It was a little...
I haven't opened it yet, so I don't know what's in it. It'll be a surprise.
The Hive, that was the best one.
I have the Hive. I still have the box for the Hive.
Such a cool box. That octagonal silver.
You know what? Maybe what I'll have to do is I'll have to empty it out, bring it in to add the,
that would be
add the box up here on the shelf.
That'd be a really
Because
cool
I hate
box.
to throw it away because it is a really pretty box.
Yep. They did announce the new, obviously it's getting close to October, so the new Tatuaje monster redo this year is going to be the Mummy.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm all over that.
Harry's is taking pre-orders.
Those will go fast. They go so fast. And then what happens is they're either great and they just keep selling, or if it's one that's not so hot, then you can get them. But like, doesn't matter what it is. When it first brand new one comes out, they go like fire sale.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Frank, that's still hard to find, and it's dropped like 5 or 6 years ago. Then there's been a couple that weren't so good. You can find them, but like, I hope the Mummy's good.
Did you gently put it in your mouth? And
No,
work the tip?
I didn't.
Slowly work the tip to get lots of moisture to it.
Sorry, Guy
And then
Fieri.
Slowly peel off the cap.
I'd give him a knuckle sandwich if he told me to do that. Diners, drive-ins, and caps. Triple D.
Hey, Guy, can I smoke in your restaurant?
He'd probably say, yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
That's one of those shows I put on and I just...
Background noise.
3 hours. I'm like, I've been watching this stupid show. That and Bar Rescue. I just put that on and I'm like, I love it. Ooh, that's tight.
They did a thing on that. Like 95% of the bar rescues end up going belly up anyway.
A lot of them, yeah, because just like our podcast, we've noticed. We filmed tonight and we're like, yeah, next week, I can't wait to watch it. And then you're like, no, we'll see your episode in 4 months. They all say I got 2 weeks left of money. They all say that. Maybe some say a month. How long can you go? A month tops, 2 weeks. Okay, we're going to fix your whole restaurant and then we're going to release it where you're going to start to make money in 6 months. They all go, thanks.
And then there's the ones that they go through the remodel and everything's great. And then before the show releases, they go back
Back to what they were
back to the old failing model. And then they just go under.
They call it the pirate bar. Whenever someone does that, they called it. So it was one in the first season or second season. They did a pirate bar, themed bar in New York. They actually named it the Corporate because they were in a big industrial complex. They said, you guys are missing your mark. You should be doing happy hour specials, lunch specials, get the corporate people. And they were like, this is the worst name ever. We're going back to Captain Spicky Jacks or whatever it was. And they're like, they died instantly. It went under.
Well, I seen the one they did in Philly.
They've done a couple now.
So I'm like, hey, let's go check it out. Gone. I'm like, oh shit. I just watched that episode last week.
There is, it's one of my favorite shows. So I do a lot of dives. One of the other things that'll happen, which you don't know, is if you find the ones that survived, there's companies that follow the show. And when one goes on the new episode, they go to those people and they say,
Find
hey,
it out.
we know you're not doing well. You think your place is worth 300. We'll give you 800 or $1 million because they know they just have to wait it out till the episode comes on. So they just go and they'll be like, okay, you want out? Here you go. We'll just take over right now. Because they know that's great marketing and publicity for being on the show.
But you got to fire the people that drove you to bankruptcy.
100%.
Shut down, get rid of everybody, and start cleaning with new people.
Yep.
It's not good you're doing that.
I know, it's really, really tight. Just like when I was younger, my favorite show was Extreme Home Makeover. They said 70% of those people had to sell the houses.
Well, they get reappraised.
Right. And they can't
they can't
afford
afford
the
taxes.
shack that they had.
The taxes.
And then let alone now you have a mansion. They're like, you can't afford that.
So, do you remember the one where they would come in and they'd rebuild your home in like 7 days?
Mm-hmm.
And then there were people afterwards, they were talking about the fact that the houses were falling apart because they just, the construction was so shoddy.
They did in 3 days?
Yeah, yeah, it was like 3 days. We completely rebuilt their house. And then literally they'd be falling apart. Things are falling off the walls, or there's stuff missing because they did it for TV.
Yep.
And they didn't actually build a safe house.
That whole show on MTV, remember Pimp My Ride?
Yeah.
They said that was the biggest sham ever. They would put all that crazy stuff in, the fish tanks, the cameras, the video TVs. They said when you got the car back, they pretty much didn't get any of that stuff. They yanked it all out and said, all right, see ya. Or the other guys are like, what do I need a coffee maker in my glove compartment for? Literally, the show would start like, what are you into? He's like, well, I like coffee. And they're like, yeah, we're going to build this whole car around coffee because I didn't like coffee that much. He's like,
We ain't got an espresso machine
and
in
he
the
was
back
like, what
seat.
the hell am I going to do with that? We're going to take out your passenger seat and put a barista in there.
Hey, my car had an optional for a mini fridge in the armrest.
Well, that's because your car's freaking awesome.
I didn't get it. I kind of wish I had, though.
Yeah.
There was another show where they used to do the home renos, and you'd look at it, and I'd be like, no, there's no way they're doing this for this much money. No way.
There was
And my wife would be like, I'd be doing something. She goes, well, I seen them doing on TV. They got it done in 4 hours. Well, yeah, because they don't show you the 35 carpenters standing waiting for the commercial break to go in and bang it out. Why?
there was
Walt's going to check on the grill, too.
I gotta turn on the lights. My wife's gonna be home any minute.
Yeah.
there was a I seen it was this guy was joking around. You know those shows where you get a couple and they're trying to buy their first new home together, and they're like they're so unrealistic. It was like, what do you do for a living? They're trying to get how much monthly or income or yearly income they have. And
I
it was
raise worms.
that's what it was. The guy said, his wife is a part-time finger paint teacher and he breeds salamanders. And you're like, oh man, these guys are going to get a trailer. And they're like $875,000.
Our budget's $1 million.
What?
I'm going,
I breed salamanders.
I got a worm farm, and my wife works part-time.
The YMCA.
Oh, you're qualified for $950,000. I'm like, what?
Where are these people? What are these worms?
big business. Apparently worms. Who knew?
But they never have like a realistic couple on there.
No.
Like I make $40,000 a year. He makes 80 grand, maybe 250, 300. They're like, no, we can't have that. That's too normal.
What's when my wife watches that one, My Lottery Dream Home,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, we just won $1 million on a scratch off. Okay. Well, you didn't win $1 million. 'Cause they took their share out. And so what are you looking to spend on your house? Oh, 2.3. What?
988 mil or 988,000. Be like, you didn't even win that much.
Well, we're going to sell our trailer.
Well, then you get the opposite. I've seen some where they win $1 million, whatever, $1 million. How much? What are you looking to spend on a house? $200,000.
Which smart.
Lottery dream home, huh? $200,000 for that.
I'll tell you what, you see a lot of those football players or baseball players. You'll see some guys rolling in the G-Wagons and then you'll see like an offensive lineman pull in like a Toyota Corolla or it's like a base F-150. I'm like, those are the guys who are going to have the money in 30 years.
Last year, AJ Brown was pulling up in like a Honda Accord.
No, I didn't see that. Dude makes like $12 million a year.
Well, this year he's pulling up in a Rolls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, same thing. Now he's finally making his money.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was afraid of getting jacked in the city, so.
The only one I do like of those shows that I think is actually worth its weight, my wife watches that Love It or List It. So what they do is they come in, they say, one of them's like, I want to stay here, but the house needs updating. And the other's like, I just want to get out of here. So they come in, they redo your whole house. And then at the end, you and your wife decide, like, are we going to stay here with the additions or are we then going to list it and go? I was like, that's legit.
Yeah.
Most of them end up staying.
Now, those people are the ones paying for the renovation.
Right.
So they're coming up with capital
Yep.
to invest in the house.
They said
But
that
my
the show
thing
gives
is-
you a discount, like a big discount, but yes, they still are paying for the renovation.
But my thing is, they tell you, okay, we got 200 grand for the renovation. Well, then at the end, they tell you, okay, now with the renovations done, your house is worth 250,000 more. Okay, you just went through all this bullshit out of your house for 6 months
to sell it.
to make 50 grand.
Yeah,
Just take the 200, put it down on another house, and move.
seriously.
The thing I've always heard from real estate agents is that if you're spending $100,000 on a renovation, you're not getting $100,000 more for your house.
Nope.
All
Nothing
depends
is
on what
100
you're doing.
but nothing is 100%. Now, kitchens, bathrooms, you might get 70, 80% of that back on a resale, but they're always talking about how
Pools,
you
it's
put
not
in
that
this
much.
much money and it's worth this much more. It's like, I
An
find it
in-ground
all-
pool will up your house, but not and how much it'll
But
cost.
it limits your market.
Right.
Correct. My agent had told me before, only 10% of the people in the market are looking for a pool.
See, I want a pool now. You know, my first house with one. I don't think I'd ever want one without it. It's a money pit, though. You're right. You
So-
know it.
My old house, I had an above ground pool, I had a hot tub, and the pool was people were like, I said, look, if you don't want it, knock it down, reclaim the yard. But if you get an in ground pool, I mean, there's people who
That's
buy
fair.
a house with the in ground pool and they're like, I don't want it, and they fill it in. Think about that.
Sacrilege.
Yeah.
But that changed. I mean, it was great when my kids were young, and then as they grew up, they moved out. There I am with a pool that I got to take care of, or it turns into a green mess.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, hot tubs are definitely the way to go.
that's my next big purchase. My
And-
wife and I already talked about we're getting a hot tub.
I had my hot tub on my deck. I would shovel the snow out there to path to get to the hot tub, run out, flip it open, jump in there, get a cigar. So, big important thing, hot tubs, temperature, you got to be careful. If you run it at the higher temps, which like 103, 104, you can't spend but 10 or 15 minutes in
pass
there.
out.
Yeah. I found that if you ran it down to say 101, it was great. It was especially in the dead of winter. And I could sit in there and smoke an entire cigar and not be a problem. Now, drinking in there is another problem.
They tell you not to drink in there.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I never listened to that.
But I've spent too much time in the hot tub, and I got out, and I get lightheaded. I'm like, whoa, because it raises your core temperature so much. But they are another option if you're sitting and you want a cigar and you want to sit outside in the hot tub, enjoy when you can. You just got to make sure that temperature's a little lower,
Yep.
and you still stay nice and warm in there.
Shut her down.
Sounds
That's what I
good.
like when I go to Vermont. My daughter has one out on her deck. Be like 10 degrees out in a blizzard. You're out there sitting in a hot tub smoking a cigar.
So
and
nice.
a blizzard going on. You're like, yeah.
All right. This has been another installment of the Smoke and Steel podcast brought to you by StogieReview.com. Tonight from Eric and Eric, Jimbo, and our fearless leader, Walt. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
You are really reaming the shit out of that cigar.
Dude, it is tight.
You're not going to tell people where they can find us tonight?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Discord,
Spotify,
Spotify,
YouTube.
YouTube,
Apple Podcasts.
Alexa. That's fun. You ask Alexa and we come on.
Tell us all about your poop stories while listening on the toilet.
Walt goes, we have like 2% listeners from Alexa. I was like, you're welcome. Well, I'm taking a dookie. There ain't nothing better than listening to yourself talk when you're on the can.
What are you? Your wife in there going, what are you doing?
We shut it down. Stop. No more talking. Have a good night, guys. She goes, who are you talking to? I was like, I'm not talking. That's the Alexa. She goes, that's weird.